What were they doing? Aisha's voice trembled. Kemi hesitated, then said, They were close, Aisha. Too close. The room spun. Aisha sank onto the sofa, her mind racing. Why was Lara back? And why now? Aisha couldn't sleep that night. The city's pulse felt like a drumbeat of betrayal. She lay beside Tunde, who slept soundly, his face peaceful, but her mind churned. Lara. The name was a thorn in her heart. She remembered meeting Lara once, years ago, at a gala. Lara's laughter was like a siren's call, her eyes calculating. Tunde had sworn Lara was history, but history, Aisha knew, had a way of clawing its way back. At dawn, Aisha slipped out of bed, her bare feet cold against the marble floor. She knelt before a small shrine in their living room, a tribute to her ancestors. She lit a candle, its flame flickering like a whispered secret. "Guide me," she murmured, placing a kola nut on the altar. Her grandmother's voice echoed, "The ancestors see what we cannot. Trust their signs." She decided to confront Tunde. Over breakfast, she watched him sip coffee, his eyes avoiding hers. "Tunde," she said, her voice steady despite the storm inside. "Were you with Lara yesterday?" His cup froze midair. For a moment, silence hung like a blade. Then he laughed, too loud, too quick. "Lara, Aisha, you're imagining things. I was at a meeting." His denial cut deeper than she expected. She pressed. "Kemi saw you at the Palms." Tunde's smile faltered, but he recovered, his voice smooth. "Kemi must have mistaken someone else. You know how crowded that place is." Aisha wanted to believe him, but the ancestral wind whispered otherwise. Desperate for answers, Aisha visited her grandmother, Iya Agba, in Agege, a less glamorous part of Lagos where tradition held strong. Iya Agba's home was a sanctuary of clay walls and woven mats, scented with herbs and history. The old woman, her face etched with wisdom, listened as Aisha poured out her fears. Iya Agba's eyes narrowed. "There is a shadow over your home, child. Someone weaves a web to trap you. Seek the truth, but beware, truth is a fire that burns." Iya Agba performed a divination, tossing cowrie shells onto a woven mat. The shells landed in a pattern that made her gasp. "A woman's hand stirs this trouble," she said. "Not the one you see, but another, hidden in plain sight." Aisha's thoughts raced to Mama Bayadan. Could it be? Aisha returned to Victoria Island, her heart a battlefield of doubt and determination. Iya Agba's words echoed. "Woman's hand stirs this trouble." She couldn't shake the image of Mama Bayadan's glinting eyes. But why would her mother-in-law, who had showered her with gifts and praise, want to harm her? She decided to dig deeper. Aisha wasn't just Tunde's wife. She was a journalist, her instincts honed by years of chasing stories. She called Kemi, who agreed to help. They met at a bustling cafe in Lekki, its walls adorned with Afrocentric art. Over steaming cups of zobo, Kemi revealed more. "I overheard Lara talking on her phone," Kemi said. "She mentioned Mama and a deal." "Aisha, it didn't sound innocent." Aisha's pulse quickened. She remembered a Yoruba proverb. "The snake hides in the grass, but its hiss betrays it." She needed proof. That evening, she rifled through Tunde's study, her hands trembling. She found nothing but invoices and tech manuals. Then her eyes caught a locked drawer. Her journalist's instinct screamed. She searched for the key, her breath shallow, but found none. Frustrated, she turned to social media, scouring Lara's profiles. Lara's posts were a parade of luxury designer bags, private jets, and cryptic captions like, "Big moves, bigger plans." One photo stopped Aisha cold. Lara at a restaurant, and in the background, a familiar figure, Mama Biodun, her jail unmistakable. The caption read, "Family ties." Aisha's stomach churned. Was this the shadow Iya Agba spoke of? She confronted Tunde again, showing him the photo. His face paled, but he waved it off. "Mama knows lots of people, Aisha. You're reading too much into this." His voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed him. They flickered with fear. Aisha's trust in him cracked further. That night, she dreamed of her ancestors, their voices a chorus in the wind. They showed her a river, its waters dark and turbulent, with a snake coiling beneath the surface. She woke gasping, her grandmother's words ringing, "Truth is a fire." She knew she had to face Mama Bayadan.
Aisha drove to Ikoyi, her heart pounding like a talking drum. Mama Biodun's mansion loomed ahead, its gates guarded by stone lions. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and wealth. Aisha wore a simple buba and wrapper, her headscarf tied tightly, as if to anchor her courage. She was here to confront the woman who might be her enemy. Mema Biodun welcomed her with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Aisha, my daughter, what brings you?" Her voice was honey, but Aisha felt the sting beneath it. They sat in the parlor, surrounded by opulence, marble floors, gold-trimmed furniture, and a portrait of Mama Biodun's late husband, Baba Biodun, staring down like a silent judge. Aisha took a deep breath. "Mama, I saw a photo of you with Lara." The room seemed to still. Mama Biodun's smile tightened, but she laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Lara? She's an old family friend, nothing more." Aisha pressed, "Then why is she meeting Tunde? Why is she back in our lives?" Mema Biodun's eyes flashed, but she regained her composure. "You're tired, Aisha. Marriage is hard. Don't let jealousy cloud your mind." The dismissal stung, but Aisha saw the crack in Mema Biodun's mask. She remembered another proverb, "The lion roars loudest when its den is threatened." She left the mansion, her resolve hardened. Mema Biodun was hiding something, and Aisha would uncover it. Back home, she found a small key tucked in Tunde's jacket pocket. Her hands shook as she unlocked the drawer in his study. Inside was a burner phone, its screen lighting up with a single message, "Lara, keep her distracted." Mama's orders. Aisha's world tilted. The betrayal was real, and it ran deeper than she'd feared. Aisha's heart was a storm as she clutched the burner phone. The message burned into her mind, Mama's orders. Her marriage, her trust, her life, it was all unraveling. She needed guidance, so she returned to Iya Agba. The old woman's eyes widened at the sight of the phone. "The snake has shown its fangs," she said, her voice grave. She lit incense, its smoke curling like spirits, and chanted prayers to the ancestors. Iya Agba cast the cowrie shells again. This time, the pattern was stark, urgent. "The one who betrays you is close, but the one who pulls the strings is closer still," she said. "You must act, Aisha, but with wisdom. Anger blinds, but the ancestors see." She gave Aisha a charm, a small pouch filled with herbs and a river stone. "Keep this close. It will protect you when the storm breaks." Aisha left age, the charm warm against her chest. She decided to follow Lara, to see where the snake's trail led. She enlisted Kimi, and together they trailed Lara to a sleek nightclub in Six, its neon lights pulsing like a warning. Inside, the air was thick with perfume and ambition. Lara sat in a VIP booth, her laughter sharp, her eyes scanning the room. Aisha, hidden in the shadows, watched as a man handed Lara an envelope. Lara's smile was triumphant. Aisha's phone buzzed, a text from Tunde. "Where are you? We need to talk." Her heart sank. Was he part of this, or a pawn? She didn't reply. Instead, she snapped a photo of Lara with the envelope, her journalist's instincts kicking in. The ancestors were guiding her, she felt it. Aisha's hands trembled as she studied the photo of Lara. The envelope, the nightclub, the message on the burner phone, it all pointed to a plot, and Memar Biodun was at its heart. But why? Aisha needed to know before confronting Tunde. She drove to Memar Biodun's mansion unannounced, the charm pulsing against her chest like a second heartbeat. Memar Biodun was in her garden, pruning roses, her jewel a splash of crimson against the green. She looked up, unsurprised. "Aisha, you're troubled," she said, her voice smooth. Aisha didn't waste time. "I know about Lara. I know you're paying her to ruin us." The words hung heavy, like thunder before rain. Memar Biodun's pruning shears paused, then resumed. "You're mistaken, child," she said, but her eyes were cold, like a snake's. Aisha held up the burner phone, the message glowing. Memar Biodun's composure cracked, just for a moment. "You don't understand," she said. "I'm protecting Tunde. You're not right for him." The confession hit Aisha like a blow. Memar Biodun admitted to hiring Lara to seduce Tunde, to drive a wedge between them. "I wanted better for my son," she said, her voice laced with pride. Lara was controllable. You're too strong." Aisha's anger flared, but the charm burned hot, grounding her. She remembered Ayah Agba's warning, act with wisdom. She left the mansion, her mind racing. She had to confront Tunde, to know if he was complicit. She found him at home, his face drawn. Before she could speak, he said, "Aisha, I need to tell you something." His voice broke, and tears glistened in his eyes. "Lara's been blackmailing me. She has photos, from before we met. Mama told me to handle it quietly." Aisha's heart shattered. Tunde wasn't the mastermind, but he'd kept secrets. The ancestors' river from her dream flashed in her mind. Turbulent, hiding dangers. She showed him the burner phone, the photo, Memar Biodun's confession. Tunde's face crumpled. "I didn't know," he whispered. "I swear, Aisha, I love you." Aisha and Tunde sat in silence, the weight of betrayal heavy between them. She wanted to believe him, but trust was a fragile thing, shattered by secrets. The charm pulsed, urging her to seek the ancestors' guidance once more. She drove to Age, the city's lights fading into the hum of tradition. Ayah Agba was waiting, as if she'd known Aisha would come. "The storm is here," she said, her eyes piercing. She led Aisha to a sacred grove behind her home, where a baobab tree stood, its branches reaching like ancestral arms. Under the tree, Ayah Agba lit a fire, its flames dancing with visions. "Ask the ancestors," she said. "They will show you the path." Aisha closed her eyes, the charm warm against her skin. She saw the river again, but now it was clear, reflecting truth. The snake was Memar Biodun, but Lara was its venom, and Tunde was caught in its coils. The ancestors whispered, "Forgive, but do not forget. Heal, but hold the truth." Aisha opened her eyes, tears streaming. She knew what she had to do. She returned to Lagos, calling Kimi for support. Together, they devised a plan to expose Lara and Memar Biodun. Aisha would host a gala, a celebration of Tunde's startup, inviting Lagos elite, including Lara and Memar Biodun. It would be a trap, a stage to unveil the truth. The ancestors' wisdom guided her, the snake fears the light. The gala was a spectacle, held in a Victoria Island ballroom aglow with chandeliers and anchor-draped tables. Lagos elite filled the room, their laughter mingling with the rhythm of talking drums. Aisha wore a silver jewel and a flowing gown, her charm hidden beneath. She was a queen tonight, but her heart was a warrior's. Tunde stood by her side, his face a mix of guilt and hope. He'd agreed to the plan, vowing to stand with her. Memar Biodun arrived, her jewel a tower of gold, her smile a fortress. Lara swept in, her dress a shimmering weapon, her eyes locking onto Tunde. Aisha's pulse quickened, but the ancestors' calm steadied her. As the night unfolded, Aisha took the stage, her voice clear. "Tonight, we celebrate love, trust, and truth," she said, her eyes sweeping the room. She signaled Kimi, who dimmed the lights. A screen lit up, showing the burner phone's message, the photo of Lara with the envelope, and a recorded clip of Memar Biodun's confession, secretly captured by Aisha's phone. The room gasped. Memar Biodun's face froze, Lara's smile vanished. Aisha spoke, her voice steady but laced with pain. "I trusted you, Memar. I loved you, Tunde. But truth is a fire, and it burns away lies." She turned to Lara. "Your venom ends here." Chaos erupted. Guests whispered, phones flashed, and Memar Biodun stood, her voice sharp. "This is a lie," she cried, but the evidence was undeniable. Lara slipped toward the exit, but Kimi blocked her, her eyes fierce. "Not so fast," Kimi said. The ancestors' light was shining, and the snake had nowhere to hide. Aisha faced Memar Biodun, her heart aching but resolute. "Why, Memar? Why destroy us?" Memar Biodun's mask fell, her voice raw. "I wanted Tunde to marry a woman I could control, not one who challenges me. You were too much, Aisha." The confession was a dagger, but it freed Aisha. She turned to Tunde, who stepped forward, his voice steady. "Memar, you were wrong. Aisha is my strength, not my weakness." Lara, cornered, spat venom. "You think you've won? This city eats the weak." But Aisha's charm burned, and she felt the ancestors' strength. "The weak are those who hide in shadows," she said. Lara fled, her power broken. The gala ended in whispers, but Aisha felt a weight lift. She and Tunde left the ballroom, the city's lights a promise of renewal. They had much to rebuild, but the truth had cleared the path. Aisha and Tunde returned to their penthouse, the city's hum a distant lullaby. They sat on the balcony, the charm resting on Aisha's lap. Tunde took her hand, his eyes heavy with regret. "I should have told you about Lara's blackmail," he said. "I was ashamed." Aisha nodded, her heart torn but softening. The ancestors had whispered, "Forgive, but do not forget." They talked through the night, rebuilding trust brick by brick. Aisha shared her pain, Tunde his fears. They vowed to face the future together, guided by truth. Aisha visited Aya Agba one last time, thanking her for the charm, the wisdom. Aya Agba smiled. "You are the fire now, child. Burn brightly." Memar Biodun retreated to her mansion, her influence diminished. Lagos elite whispered her shame, but Aisha felt no joy in her fall. She prayed for Memar Biodun, asking the ancestors to guide her to redemption. Lara vanished, her venom spent. The city moved on, as cities do, but Aisha and Tunde grew stronger, their love tempered by fire. Months later, Aisha stood on her balcony, the city alive below. She wore a new Ankara dress, its patterns a story of resilience. Tunde joined her, his smile warm, their love a quiet strength. They had faced the storm and emerged whole, guided by the ancestors' wisdom. Aisha reflected on the lessons burned into her soul. Trust, she learned, was a seed that needed truth to grow. Betrayal, though painful, revealed the strength. Months later, Aisha stood on her balcony, the city alive below. She wore a new Ankara dress, its patterns a story of resilience. Tunde joined her, his smile warm, their love a quiet strength. They had faced the storm and emerged whole, guided by the ancestors' wisdom. Aisha reflected on the lessons burned into her soul. Trust, she learned, was a seed that needed truth to grow. Betrayal, though painful, revealed the strength within. She remembered a final proverb from Ayah Agba: "The fire tests the gold, but the gold shines brighter for it." Aisha was the gold, her heart tempered by fire. She shared her story at a community gathering, her voice carrying the weight of tradition. Elders nodded, children listened, and the talking drums echoed her truth. Lagos, with its wealth and shadows, was a city of stories, and Aisha's was one of courage, love, and ancestral light. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of fire, Aisha felt the ancestors' presence. They had guided her through the river, past the snake, to a shore of peace. She whispered a prayer of thanks, her charm a reminder of their wisdom. The city sang on, and Aisha, with Tunde by her side, was ready for whatever story came next.